All right. Hi, 6 of you. Look how messed up my hair is. I got lucky. Some construction's going on next door, but it just ended maybe like within the last half hour. Okay, there's 22 people. Word. I might just wait a few more minutes to see if anyone else joins, but rearrange some windows. Oh my god. If anyone has any particular topics you want to touch on, you should put them in the chat or ask me any questions. I have the browser open so I can just like show everything that I got for my outdoor setup. And everyone can ask stuff if any particular questions as we go through. But oh my god, costs, yes, costs, great question. I want to say this is actually a pretty cheap setup overall. I want to say it might have been, I think it was less than $1,000, but not by much. Yes, the Whoop is, I'm still wearing it. So we're going to get to that as well. I don't think we have to spend too long on the outdoor gym aspect. Hold on, I'm just adding to the gram here. That was a terrible photo. How do I... There we go. Okay, let's see. I don't think I got all the tabs open even that I wanted to. But hopefully everyone will bear with me. I have to open them on short notice. Okay. When you say you have free weights 15 to 25 sets, what does that mean? As far as powerlifting, I mean, I was a runner for a really long time. So I don't know if that's what you mean. As far as lifting, I just started with like kind of basic strength training, which is powerlifting based. Usually it's like squat, bench, deadlift, but then also rows and some like pull-up work, some other like accessory stuff. But it's pretty focused on the same stuff as powerlifting. And then as I started to want to get stronger, focusing on the 3 main lifts just made sense. So that was what I did. I was never like a bodybuilder or anything like that. But I have done different kinds of training. Like I've done like more hypertrophy kind of training. I've done more strength focused stuff. I've done programs that have bodybuilding exercises kind of built into them. Though my goal was never to like look a particular way. So I don't know. Now I think I still technically powerlift, but I haven't competed in over 2.5 years. I mean, some of that, I was like starting to think about competing like just as the pandemic started. There was a meet I was actually sad that I didn't get to sign up for that was like in mid-March being held at Strength for All, which is a really good gym, or was a really good gym. One of their locations closed, I know that. And I think is still closed in the pandemic. But they were holding a meet that I was going to sign up for, and then it was closed because too many people signed up for it. And then the pandemic happened, like literally days before. It was really sad. Very sad for them. Cool. Yeah, I've never tried Olympic lifting. I found it very scary when I first started lifting, now less so. But it still seems like if you're not super mobile, you have a better chance of hurting yourself than with powerlifting. That's just like a sort of instinctual reaction I have to it. But it's just like holding weight over your head just seems like the potential for something to go wrong is really rough. Okay, pairs of 15, 20, 25 pounds. Yeah, I have a 15-pound weight. I have a 45-pound weight. And they're not. I mean, I have to do like single sets of everything, like one leg, one arm at a time. And it sucks. So you're lucky you have pairs. I mean, 30 is not that much more than 25. I think you can feel okay about that. Okay, maybe I should just get started talking about my gym. Now it's been a few minutes. So if you've never seen it, I mean, it was in my Instagram post, but can everyone see this? I can't even see there we go, yeah. So I have a cap strength rack, Rogue plates, a Rogue barbell, and an Amazon Basics bench that I'm actually really excited to talk about. I have been using this for 3 weeks now, maybe. And everything's going pretty well so far. Maybe let me start with the rack because that's the most exciting thing. Because it's in, not this. Here we go. I put a little burger over where Amazon normally posts your zip code, so hopefully no one can see it. So this rack is like super cheap. The story with this rack was that actually one of my coworkers, Jason Kobler, got this to have in our office for everyone to be able to do pull-ups. And that never really came to fruition. He got it in like February, I think. And it was kind of around, we never really figured out a safe place to set it up. And then the pandemic happened, and he brought it home to his apartment. And he set it up there. And then his lease ended, and he moved out of his apartment and offered it to me. And I was like, this is perfect for me. I had no other equipment at that time, but I was like, at least I'll have a pull-up bar outside. And that really was a sticking point for me when I was working out outside because I didn't have any way to like do pulling motions. Jason, I'm talking about it right now. Can you not hear or see me? Jason's in the chat, everyone. I'm curious why you think you would die if you tried working outside. Working out outside, I mean. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, Jason, all the credit to you. This is you really set this in motion, and I have you to thank for that. So as you can see, this rack is like incredibly cheap. I think some of these sell for like thousands of dollars if you get like a real deal Rogue one. And this is like not nice. But it really fits exactly what I need. It's pretty small in terms of how much space it takes up. And it has like little, how do I show this? It has the little barbell storage upright things so that I can keep the barbell outside. Some may say that's not good for the barbell. So far, everything's okay. And I can talk more a little bit about that later. I think how I will deal with cold hands is a really good question that I will also talk about once I get through all the equipment. But the only downside I would say to this rack is that I wish I could like point. Hold on. Maybe this will work. Okay, here we go. So like you can see here where the two halves of the rack attach. You can't like put the clips in at that point, which if you are either really short for squatting or have really long arms for benching, like I have long arms, but I'm right at the limit for like where the clips still fit. So that's a pretty serious limitation. I think I have at some point wanted to put the bar at exactly that height, but I forget why, and I could just sort of work around it. I think it's maybe like if I wanted to do like really close grip bench, I can't get my grip a lot closer without getting to that point where I'd have to like put it super high up or like too far low down. I think that's the only problem I really had with it. It's like not warped or anything at all. The pull-up part of it is really sturdy. It's great. Like, this is a really good use of $130 in my opinion. The one thing I'll say, it's a little scary. There's like paint on the inside of the clips that will wear off really fast and like sort of shred and sprinkle all over your other equipment as you have a barbell in there. If it has knurling, pretty heavy knurling. I have a Ohio power bar, so it's been like eating away at that paint, but it's going to be fine. It's just like a wearing in issue. Okay. Let me just, sorry, moving windows around. Oh my God. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to actually put my camera over here, reach. It makes a little more sense, potentially. So I'm kind of like talking at you guys. Here we go. I'm glad Jason likes to see his own pull-up bar. I'm happy for him. Okay, so that's the rack. That's $130. I'm actually gonna I wish I could put it on the display. I probably could if I had prepared better, but I'm gonna write down how much everything costs and then add it up at the end. So that's $130. Okay, and then, so as far as obtaining that, that's my story for obtaining that. I know this rack was out of stock for a while because someone else asked me about it a few months ago. It wasn't in stock. Now it seems to be back, so maybe they just made a bunch more. Oh my goodness. Just cooperate. I hate when Windows like resizes tabs. It's the worst. Squat stand without a pull-up bar. Definitely regret not getting one with a pull-up bar. Yes. Pull-up bar is so key. There's just no good way to do pull-ups. I have one that goes over a doorway, but it actually doesn't really fit either doorway in my apartment super well. And this one, it's really high up is maybe the only problem I have with it, but I'm like, I have a little step stool that I can use, or I can just step on the bench if I really need to. I also, like, if I'm being honest, don't do pull-ups that much because I'm lazy. Okay. So onto the plates. So I'm going to do a little spin through also the Rogue Stockbot, which played some role here, or at least is an available tool that it's worth being aware of. So I have they have plate sets that are never in stock as far as I know, and you can't get alerts on them, but I just set up alerts on the 10s, the 25s, and the 40. Wow, they have 35s in stock right now even. 45s, 25s, 10s, and I would get separate alerts for all of them. I believe the 45s and 10s I got separately. Or I got the alerts at the same time, and I think I was able to buy them at the same time, then the 25s came later. And I actually realized that I don't have enough plates to do weights. Like, there's a gap in the weights I can do between, like, I can do 95 pounds and I can do, I think, 87.5 pounds, but I can't do like 90 pounds because I need a second set of 10s, if that makes sense. Because I only have one set of each 5s, 10s, 25s, 45s. So I'm bad at math. I don't think I'm that bad at math. I'm like pretty good at math, and I still make mistakes like this. So someday I'll be able to, I think I'm still getting the alerts, actually. They don't turn off once you like buy something. Let's see. Why does my chat scroll? Oh my god. I'm having real window issues here. Please resize. Be normal. There we go. So, interesting about the Australia racks. I mean, like, this is, to me, this rack was like super worth it for the price, and everything else I've ever seen is also 5 times more money. Cap Strength is not a nice brand. It's not like Rogue. But if I were like building a gym for life, this would not be the rack that I would choose. But if you're just like trying something out, if it's going to be outside and you're like worried it's going to get fucked up by the weather, it's perfect. Bar on the highest pins and do pull-ups like that. Yeah, I mean, even this rack actually is, my boyfriend is 6'6" and he has very long arms. And I think if he hangs like full length from that pull-up bar, he's still like almost his knees touching the floor. Like, it's not going to cure everything. I think the bar is maybe 7 feet in the air, something like that. Or no, the barbell when it's in the thing is a little bit taller than that. So it's like maybe just under 6 feet. I don't know. It's high for me, but for a really tall person, kind of. I mean, there's no helping tall people a lot of the time. But I wonder if putting the bar in the highest pins would work generally. That's not a bad idea. Really smart. Okay, back to the bumper plates. So, yeah, these are, like, after doing some comparison shopping, these are pretty cheap. And also I was like, I didn't want iron plates because they'd be really loud outside. And I have mad neighbors being in New York. And so that takes out like 90% of plates. Really expensive kilo plates are easier to find, but like they're literally one plate for $100 or $800, something like that. I think if you're talking about like an Eleiko situation. Oh no, my mental health break app is popping. It works for my girlfriend, but she's 5'3". Fair. Short people are advantaged in pull-ups in so many ways. It's not fair. So anyway, I knew I wanted some sort of like plastic plate. I was actually looking at, there was this guy in Poughkeepsie who was selling concrete plates, and he was like spamming them on Craigslist. I actually wrote to him at one point because I was like, this actually seems like a good idea. As far as they were cheap, I think they were like, how much are the 45s here? $140. I think he was selling his for maybe like $50 or $70 for a pair. They were inexpensive, and I was like, they're gonna get beat up anyway. Maybe this is the best idea anyone's ever had, just like cast plates out of concrete. And I was like, are they gonna chip if I'm like dropping them over and over? And I wrote to him asking if they would chip. He gave me like a half answer where he was like, here's a video of me like lifting them on a carpet or something, and they're fine. And I was like, okay, that's not, because my patio is like concrete. And I ended up getting some like little gym mat squares anyway, to do deadlifts on, just to sort of protect the plates a little bit, because they were starting to get kind of roughened on the outside of them. So that's where the big plates came from. What do you call these? Some of these bumper plates. Oh, jeez. So these were, let's see, 145 for the 45, 75 for the 25s, and then 51. Oh my God, $51 for 10-pound plates is stupid. And then I'm going to need another set of those, honestly, but we'll just leave it like that for now. What was I just saying? Oh, the maths. Let me look those up too. Okay, so onto the bar. This was the bar I got. I looked everywhere for bars. I really struggled with this one because I was like, if you've worked out at like a YMCA and you've worked out at like a powerlifting gym, you know the difference that a good bar and like knurling make when you're trying to do a deadlift, especially, but really anything. The YMCA type bars that like Xmark makes. I shouldn't shade Xmark. I'm not sure what they are, but like, you know, those commercial gym bars that are just like, they appear to have knurling, which is the texture on the outside of they have a zoom here. So this is the knurling. There's shitty bars that appear to have texture. To look at them, you would think so, but then they're like nearly as smooth as the rest of the bar. It's nothing. So buying something online, I stared at so many bars for so long, being like, do I think it'll have the right knurling? I would like search the Amazon answers for answers with knurling in them, and just would not get anywhere, or would not see anything that would like soothe my soul enough to want to buy the thing. Bar scratched up from the concrete plates. Actually, I think he was doing a little kind of collar inside the concrete plates. So they weren't like 100% concrete. It was like I think there was some sort of infrastructure to the plate that then the concrete was cast on, and then it had, similar to how the bumper plates have the little, let's see if there's a photo. I mean, they have like a little metal ring on the inside, that I have worried extensively about in terms of weather, but I'm told actually if there's stainless steel and it's going to be safe and fine. Concrete plates can crack if dropped from the end of a snatch lift. Yes. This guy seemed to think they were like reinforced enough that they weren't, but I ended up not going that way. Dip what in that rubber stuff? The plates? Like there's been a lot of talk of tire liner. I think tire liner gets a little oversold on like the things it can do. For really any stuff with lifting weights, people are like, just spray your entire setup in tire liner, coat the bar in tire liner, coat the plates in tire liner. Hold on one second. I don't know what that was about. Okay. Okay, trying to move faster here, but okay, so I ended up getting like kind of one of the most expensive bars you can get. I mean, it's not like a competition Olympic weightlifting bar, but it's one of the better bars. You can get a bar for like $100. But I just decided I wanted to go with something that was like that I know this is like the sort of like not even gold standard, but kind of standard bar for a lifting gym. And I was like, this is the one place that I should not cheap out. And if I need to baby the bar and like bring it inside for workouts, I will be mad that I have to do that, but I will if necessary. So that's where I ended up with that. Nothing special, but expensive as fuck. So yeah, that's all the Rogue stuff, I think. So I'm just going to show the Rogue stock bot briefly. I had pretty good luck actually with the email alerts, I would say. I had an old Ohio bar and it's super durable. I had it for 5 to 6 years now. It's still in good condition. The bars in my gym are in great condition. I got the black zinc one just because I think that was what was in stock, and I've seen the black wear off of the outside. But other than that, they're great. I think that gym people also take pretty good care of it. But they seem to hold up well. I also got some machine oil that was like $7 on Instagram. To I think can help keep it coated and keep it from rusting if it's outside. So yeah, okay. So this is the Rogue stock bot. I would say I actually had equal luck with email alerts. I think a lot of people will say, like a lot of people ask me, like I would say I can't find equipment anywhere. People would be like, have you tried the stock bot? I tried the stock bot. I think it was a better tool like 4 to 6 months ago, but then I want to say that Facebook like rate limited them or something because it became, oh yeah, see. Okay, so they were, because they couldn't be a business page for some reason, I think it's just something that somebody built on top of Rogue's existing infrastructure, which is very nice to do that. Definitely a nice service. If you set up the alerts, you have to message the bot like twice a day, supposedly, in order to actually get the alerts. I think since that system had been in place, which actually it was as of a few months ago, I believe, I don't think I ever actually got a stock alert from this. Not because of anything wrong with it, but just because of that system where you have to like keep pinging it in order, I guess, to keep it active. So I think I would say don't even bother with this if you're trying to buy weights. Just do the email alerts. And maybe look on, he just mentioned one of the Reddits. Home gym. I think you can turn on Reddit thread alerts. So I would try that, honestly. I had good luck also with people messaging me and telling me when stuff was in stock. I think that only panned out one time. But I think community-oriented stuff can be a little bit more helpful. The automated stuff doesn't seem to be working that well. Okay, so let me talk about the bench now that's been like forever I've been talking. So the bench that I got on this very extremely zoomed in photo, this was another hard one because I was like, having a shitty bench really sucks when it's really slippery and you can't like get any traction to arch, or if it's wobbly, or I'm trying to think of other bench problems. Slippery and wobbly are the two main problems that I have, even with like Rogue benches at the gym. I think that's actually more a problem of the floor being uneven than the bench sometimes, but sometimes the benches legitimately are like fucked up. And I wonder how they get that way. I wonder if this one will like warp in the weather, but we'll find out. So I think by the time I got around to buying this, I was sufficiently in my head about whether an outdoor gym was even going to work out that I was like, and I'd already spent quite a bit of money. And I was like, I don't want to throw down another $150 for the Rogue bench. I think that's what that one costs. And also that one like sucks low key. It's very slippery, which is not an unfixable problem. You can like put super bands around the sort of surface of it, around the top and bottom, and that'll give you some traction, or you can put a yoga mat on top of it. And that helps, but it's annoying to have to like do extra setup So I was like, I don't even like that bench that much. I want to give this setup a shot with this garbage bench. And then maybe if the garbage benches do garbage, I'll buy a better bench. And then I'll only be out an extra $50. I just don't want to be out $150 on the off chance that this didn't work. So I bought the Amazon Basics bench, and huge surprise, so far it's great. It's very solid. It's not wobbly. I think I was a little afraid because a lot of benches, the better benches, will have sort of like canted, angled legs. And this one has very straight ones. It's not a problem as far as I can tell. It is a very light bench, so when I go to arch and like you press your back in, the bench will be like coming up at the other end, which is also not the worst problem. It's like a minor effect. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. I love this bench because the texture of the top is actually a little bit like rubbery. It's not smooth and slippery like the Rogue bench. So this is a great product, I think, if you're trying to do a gym setup. Sorry, I'm just experimenting with the camera. I don't mean to make anyone nauseous. Angles for like incline curls. What do you mean? I don't know what those are. Take the sleeve off and lube it up when the sleeve is no longer rotating well. Okay, yeah. See, I didn't even know you could do that with bars because I'm very new at all of this. I did not know you could take bars apart and fix them. I don't want to do that. This is the kind of part of having a home gym that I was not into. I don't want to have to do any maintenance, but hopefully that's like years in the future. I don't have to worry about that now. Incline and decline stuff boxes under the legs. I have not tried that. That seems unsafe, frankly. Maybe I would try that if there was something like of the right height that I could put under either side. I did think about getting an adjustable bench, but those were also more expensive, and I felt less good about storing something like that outside. What sounds sketch? I don't follow, but I feel like this was one of the better things that I spent money on. I'm not sure it'll hold up. Maybe I'll like puncture the top of the cloth at some point. But, oh, this is out of stock actually. I didn't even notice that till just now. I would put like an alert on it, honestly. I'm writing down how much I spent on that. Because this was honestly a great buy. Sorry, I'm making noise unnecessarily. Okay, next. That's the rack. We already went over that. Okay, so the change plates that I have are, I believe they're York Barbell brand, which is like one of the oldest brands out there for weights. They make iron plates. You've probably seen, they're like, if you've ever been to like a gym that would have iron plates. I think they've like never changed. I don't think they make anything else other than like cast iron plates. But these are what I have basically. I actually had a friend send them to me because, shout out to Jamila, who used to go to my gym and now she lives in California. But she sent me her 5, 2.5, 1.25, and then like a bunch of these little guys. She sold them to me for $65, which was, I think, as good of a price as you're probably going to find for all of those anywhere. You can see the 5-pound guys here are 20, 2.5's 10. The 10s are probably, I don't know, just going by math, like $40 for a set of 2. Remember the $51 bumper plates, 10-pound bumper plates. So I paid $65 for those. I think that's like market rate for what's out there right now. And these even look available, honestly, from this random website. This was just what came up when I Googled York fractional plates. So maybe if you need to buy them, they're out there for now. Okay. And then I was just going to point out these again, super bands that I have for like doing different banded things, banded pull-ups mostly when I do get around to doing pull-ups. They've been great. I think bands don't wildly vary in price, but they do shred. If you've ever seen this, the sort of like layers can come apart. So that is what you don't want. I have not had a problem with that, and they're also pretty cheap. Like a 5-band set for $30. I don't know what I saw, but I would swear like a couple years ago, these were like $50 per band, like not that long ago. Is that what causes direct sunlight is what causes the shredding effect? I mean, this happened. I've seen this in my gym, I'm pretty sure, which is like it's like a cave. I keep mine inside. I do not keep them outside. But these are nice to have. They're cheap. They're in stock. I did a post a while ago about at home banded stuff, like trying to clarify about the right ways to use bands, and I showed some of the things that I did with super bands, which include like you can kind of like anchor them to something and like do rows if you just sort of like attach any length of like, I don't know, if you have a piece of like PVC pipe would be the canonical example, but like a broom. I used an old piece of a hammock that we never set up. That was just like it was like a metal tube. You gotta get creative in these times. These are dark times. So that's it, I think, for all the gym stuff. So now I need to like add this up. If anyone has any questions, you should ask me them now. Okay, so 130 for the rack plus 145 for the, what was that? I think those were the 45s. And then 75 for the 25s, 51 for the 10s, 285 for the bar, 52 for the, what was that? Oh, that was the that wasn't the fractional plates. What was that? Oh, the bench. And then 65. So that's $803. It's not bad. I think if you want like a really quality like time tested gym, I wouldn't buy some of this stuff. I wouldn't buy the cap strength rack. I wouldn't buy the Amazon Basics bench. But if you're just like trying it out to see like if you'll actually work out, or if like the setup will go okay indoors or outdoors, like maybe you'll have some sort of unforeseen circumstance, like your neighbors don't like the noise, or who knows, it's gonna like put a hole in your floor. You can get out of it with having spent a little bit less money, and not be out hundreds of dollars or like have to resell stuff in order to recoup. That was another thing that I was telling myself this whole time, was that I can resell everything if I need to. If I wanted to go higher quality, would I recommend going secondhand? Yeah. I definitely would. There's a pretty healthy market even in New York. I would say for most of it, it seemed like you needed a car. Like it would be like on outer Brooklyn, Queens area, or like upstate. But I think it's sad to say it, but a lot of gyms are closing right now because they don't have enough people to pay to use them. So that means there is a lot of equipment on the market. And also probably a lot of people like trying this and finding out that it is not for them or they can't actually do it. So it's worth looking for sure. I did spend a lot of times like looking on Craigslist, I think trying to get a sense of like what I could actually buy and how much things should cost, or like how much I would sort of like what the relative or the relationship was between like if I buy something secondhand versus like buying something shitty or that's new. So yeah. The only thing I would say is like do comparison shop, like at least find out what things that you're trying to buy should cost on normal websites. So you're not, because I think there are a lot of people buying equipment and then reselling it and trying to like price gouge. So be careful of that. Don't like throw hundreds of dollars at a piece of garbage equipment. Just be careful of that. Did I put down any mats? Okay, let me look at or for the mat that I that I bought, because they just came like a couple days ago. Let me see. I'll look up from my Gmail. Let's see what happens when I search mat. Does anyone else have extreme problems searching their Gmail right now, where you try to search a term and it's like, you know, every newsletter you've gotten in the last 24 hours or like promotional email has like somehow worked the words shipping and confirmation in, so you can't find your shipping confirmations? It's the worst. Okay. So I got mats from AmericanFloorMats.com. Let's see. I'm just gonna so they're called Fit Lock rubber tiles. I've heard a lot of people are like, oh, you can buy like horse stall. I've heard the words horse stall mat so many times, and I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And it never seemed less expensive than these. I think that might be old advice from when people sold gym mat, were like first starting to sell gym mats, and they were like wildly expensive. I never saw a horse mat option that seemed like crazy cheaper than this. So this was what I got. I don't know why the C price thing isn't working. It might just be slow, but wow, someone else feels my Gmail pains. Thank you. It's incredibly annoying, and I don't know what to do about it. I only spend enough time in my Gmail to get mad about what's going on, but not enough time to do anything about it. I know the horse stall mat, like everyone says horse stall mats work great, but like, okay, so I lost the email again, so I'm getting it back. Okay, so between the tiles were $10.25 each, for two 2-foot by 2-foot tiles, so they're pretty big, and then it was $15 for shipping, so $35 altogether. So we need to add that into my total. So 803 plus 35 is 838. But you can see them in this one of the pictures. I feel like that you can see them here. So they're pretty big. It's I've only used them this once, but it seemed to like work out so far, and I just kind of like wedge them into the rack when I'm not using them. Off gas really badly and weigh a ton. Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're fine. I'm not moving tons of them. I just have like one piece for each end of the bar for when I'm doing deadlifts. Horse mats weigh a ton. I wonder if you're talking about those like big rubber sheets. I honestly don't know like what a horse stall mat even looks like. I spelled mat like a name. Okay. I have seen these. 4 feet by 6 feet. Yeah, so we have some of these at Murder of Crows. So yeah, this is only $10 more than what I paid for those 2 little tiles, and it would cover obviously a lot more area. You don't even have a good photo of it. Come on. Here we go. So that's, I would say, I feel like ours are bigger than this, but that's a decent size. If you were trying to cover a whole gym, or even just like your home gym, this is definitely a cheaper way to do it, but not for something you need to move around. Any rubberized product is going to give out VOCs if you're working out on them. You're inhaling a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, I'm outside. I don't worry about that, and they only off gas for the first like few weeks you have them. If you were really worried about it, you could put them outside maybe until they stop. But I mean, it's like mattresses do that too. Lots of things do that. Does it smell good? No, but the plates smelled like that as well. Similar smell. They just smell, I don't know. Sorry, I left off in the questions. Yeah, most plastic things, the smell will go away. For whatever reason, new plastic does smell. I don't think most stuff keeps smelling. I think it's considered like a bad feature of it if it does keep smelling, but it's hard to know what's gonna smell forever. If you don't, you can look at reviews. That's kind of like the only thing you could do. Okay, so yes, okay, I need to talk about weather. Yeah, lots of questions about this. So what I do, I wish I had a photo of it that I could show. Maybe I can like, because I've posted it to my story. I'm just gonna have to like show you my phone screen, which is not very sophisticated, but I didn't prepare for this. I have some bungee cords and a huge tarp that I forget the size. I want to say it's like 25 feet by 20 feet. It's really big, and I bought it like several months ago, like maybe even close to a year ago, intending to do some sort of yard work with it, and then it was just way too big. It was like the size of my yard. And then it turned out to be perfect for covering a whole rack. Maybe it's like 18 feet by 25 feet, because it's like just long enough that it drapes over both sides. I'm finding a picture. Hold on. I know I have one in here. But yeah, so it has little holes around the outside, and I just hook in I guess I shouldn't include the cost of I want to say the bungee cords were like $10. And the tarp was also, I'm going to say not more than $20. I was surprised that tarps are cheap. Here we go. Okay, so if you guys can see that, it does not look nice. I will say that. It looks like a big blue ghost, but it is, and you can even see my step stool in there actually. If it were to focus, maybe it can't. There we go. That's a little better. So yeah, it's not beautiful, but it gets the job done. There's some condensation I found if it like rains for days. On the plates inside. There's been a little bit on the bar. I'm hoping if I keep it oiled, it won't be a problem. And I also have a piece of plastic sheeting that I think I'm going to try and sort of like fit over it like a sleeve, to protect it from the condensation problem too. So that's it. I felt very wary about this, and I was very afraid everything would rust like immediately. But it hasn't so far, so that's been really good. I mean, it's only been like 3 weeks, nothing rusts that fast, but I'm just hoping I can get through the winter without anything being really ruined. And if it is, I'll be disappointed, but I'm telling myself that if I can get through like 4 months of at home working out, that will have paid off like gym membership wise, because my gym was really expensive. And powerlifting gyms are expensive in general. Crash cushions, rogue cells are great if you're dropping bars. I've heard this. It's good for like Olympic lifters for sure, and I've seen them, videos of them. They definitely make a difference for sound. I will say, the bumper plates plus the bar that I have plus the pads that I have is not as loud as I worried it would be. It's still like not the sound I would want to hear if I were hanging out outside in an adjacent backyard, but it is fine. It's probably like the same as construction, which is like there's so much of that going on around here anyway. Most recently, my neighbors have been like seeming to try to drill through a wall that we share like into our apartment. And I would say what I'm doing is not louder than that, so I don't feel that bad about it. Maybe if I lived in like a really quiet neighborhood, it would be upsetting to some people. I know like I've seen people have the crash pads who live like in their own houses. Like I know Maddie Rogers has crash pads, I think because like her neighbors complain, but she does work out twice a day, and I assume like all of those workouts involve snatches and clean and jerks. But I deadlift like once or twice a week, so one set, or not one set, but like one session for like half an hour once or twice a week, I'm telling myself is not so bad. No one's complained yet. And I'm doing it like in the middle of the day and not at night or in like early in the morning or anything, like during noise hours. So I think that helps. Okay. My bar is stored in an outside garage, not insulated in Canadian winters for 5 years, and has only seen a tiny bit of rust from spots where the bar has deep scratches. That is the kind of information that I need to hear. So thank you. That's very meaningful to me. I hope it's going to be okay. I think the weather issue is going to be harder because this area is not covered. Everyone and their mom was telling me to get a tent. I looked briefly into this, and I would say I'm not done looking into it, but I also like I can't stress enough how much I didn't want to like kind of go all in doing all kinds of stuff for this gym. I just wanted a really basic solution and not have something that's like a lot of maintenance or that I'm working on forever. And I just don't think there's going to be a good way to like, I mean, the patio I have is so small. It's like literally 8 feet across ish, and then maybe like 15 feet long. So it'd have to be a very specific size of tent, and it has to be like high enough that all of the stuff fits underneath it. Yeah, a bar bag for the bar does sound like a smart idea, honestly. Okay. I think that might be kind of it on I mean, as far as weather too, like cold, I think someone asked me how I'm going to keep my hands warm. I don't have a good solution for that yet, but I found that when I've gone, I don't think I really plan on working out when it's like less than 40 degrees by much. I'm going to try and work out like when it's sort of like peak warmth for the day, if I can. And I would say the number of days that we have that are like below freezing in New York are definitely less than half. Like it's not that many. It's actually pretty warm here the last 5 or so years, which is extremely troubling. But as long as I'm not causing the climate change, or the main person causing climate change, at least, I'm gonna take advantage of it. So yeah. I'm anticipating that if I can sort of like schedule things right, I'll be able to avoid working out in like really, really cold weather most of the time. Um, the bar is metal, so it heats up pretty quick during the winter. It does suck for maybe the first 5 to 10 minutes, but after that, it's okay. I think I found that also just like sort of touching it enough, and like when it's on your back, like it doesn't remain like sort of like bone shakingly cold for very long. I think I might get some of those like sort of rubbery moving gloves that are like all rubber on the palm and fingers to make handling the plates a little bit easier when it's cold out, at least until I get warmed up. But I haven't done that yet, and those are like $2 or whatever at bodegas. So I'm not anticipating I'm going to be out there in like a parka and a hat and a scarf and like mittens. I think I'm going to be, I don't think it's going to be that cold. When I've gone out when it was like 40 to 45 degrees, I wore like a hoodie and pants and I was fine. But it also wasn't windy either. Maybe I'll wear a hat sometimes to be cute. Okay. I feel like we should move on to the Whoop. Snowy lifting videos will be cute. I'm gonna be sad when all the leaves are off the trees because it's so pretty right now, but the ginkgo tree here that we have in our yard changes so fast, and then like I think all the leaves are just gonna like fall off at once. And then everything will be barren and sad. So